What's up everyone? This week we dive into that insane encounter with NYCFC, and we break down the debut of Lil Bodie, but also, what the hell has happened to Tito's hair? All that and a whole lot more, coming up.
Welcome to the show, 5 Shark fam. I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button. Also guys, share this video. We'd love to continue to grow and we couldn't do it without you, so share this video to help us grow. Alright guys, so let's get right into that 4-goal thriller on Sunday against NYCFC. Man, what a match, and it was a heavyweight battle. I mean, it was 1 against 2, and it seemed like neither team wanted to budge at all. And really, I think the Greg Garza goal really showed, you know, it opened up the game. We saw more end-to-end stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, especially in those kind of big fixtures, once that first goal comes in, it kind of gets the match going. At the beginning, each team doesn't really want to make that mistake that allows that first goal to go in. It's kind of an odd situation with Atlanta United not picking up the 3 points at home, mostly because most times when Atlanta United go ahead, that's bad for the other team. Unfortunately, this team is NYCFC, and they are a very, very, very good team. There's a reason they're in first.
Exactly.
And I think there's a very good chance, hopefully, you know, we'll see them again later in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it was a great goal from Garza. It's crazy when you think the 2 goal scorers for Atlanta United were both defenders.
Right.
But, I mean, heck, if goals are coming from everywhere, that makes us even harder to defend against.
Exactly.
But yeah, I thought that goal really kind of opened up the match. It was a bit tentative early, but it really got going after that. And I mean, unfortunately, you know, we score a goal, they have a guy go off, and David Villa is the flipping guy that comes onto the pitch. And of course, true to form, immediately buries a penalty to even it up.
Exactly, and super tough. But let's talk back on the Greg Garza goal. It was a Miggy snapshot essentially. He was trying to score from pretty much, I think, the edge of the box, and Greg Garza cleans up where he pretty much.
Yeah, that back post on the supporter section side, for some reason, he's always just sitting there when the ball comes across. But hey, that's the striker's instinct for a wing back, so I'm all about it.
Exactly.
But I had actually no idea the ball went in until everyone was just going crazy. Because it's really hard to see from the supporter section.
There was a little bit of obstruction.
Well, it's like because it's like right inside the 6-yard box. Unless you're sitting at the very front, it's just very difficult to see.
Right.
And I'm like, is the ball gone in? And everyone's like, I guess the ball's gone in. And I was like, I have no idea who scored, but we scored, great. And then it's just like, Garza, how about? And it's just like, yeah, man, it was crazy. Right. It was madness. I mean, it was kind of funny. I was sitting before the game, and I tweeted out before the game. I just kind of got this feeling, just looking. I'm like, this, for me personally at least, I thought it was the second biggest game in Atlanta United history. Because obviously, in my opinion, the biggest game in Atlanta United history was the playoff game. Definitely. Because that's your first playoff game. Unfortunately, we lost. Mind you, that first game ever is big. But in terms of actual results that matter, no one knew what to expect for that game, and so in a sense it was a bit of a write-off. It was more of an experience. Hey, this is what we're about. This game was big. This was, all right, we're a club, people have high expectations. We won 4 on the bounce. This is the #1 team in the table. We're number undefeated. 2. They haven't lost, coming into our house, and I was like, this is a big game. This is the kind of game that I really love about soccer. And I was having this conversation with Jay Riddle as well, and it's like, you had no idea what was going to happen going into that match, and it was brilliant. And Patrick Vieira ended up talking about it later on, how high of a level of a match that was for this league. And I think you saw that on the pitch, really, which is why it was so unpredictable. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's that type of high-level play that is a great showing for, you know, MLS to, you know, the casual fans, maybe from other countries, and, you know, it was one of the, you know, more well-watched games, you know, around the world. I mean, I think with reason. It's, you know, it's a type of match that, you know, definitely beat out some of the Premier League matches over the weekend.
Let's not talk about the Premier League. Let's not do it. Both of us are quite miserable. Let's not delve into those bad days.
But yeah, and so you know, I think though the back and forth nature was you know, just super fun to watch. I know a lot of people enjoy the, you know, 7-0s, the 4-0s, the you know, but you know, this is that type of match.
You're not going to win every match like that against the really good teams at home. It's just not going to happen. I mean, NYCFC could win the league this year. They could win the Supporter Shield. They could win the MLS Cup. It would not shock me. They're a very good team.
They were doing this without David Villa on the pitch.
Like, he came on, and immediately you saw he was everywhere. Like, that fella is good. He might be annoying as hell when he plays for the other team, but you cannot deny that fella has class. So, but yeah, I mean, the interesting thing, I think, is that in his post-game, Patrick Vieira was actually, he was questioned by a journalist from the Netherlands who was writing about soccer here in America. And it's just like, for that fella to come over here and to get that experience of, not only was it a brilliant game that was televised internationally, it was a hell of an atmosphere because the fans were, you know, amazing. We'll get to the whole light show later, but that was pretty damn awesome again. It never fails to amaze in a big match. I mean, we showed everyone who saw that match what soccer's about, not just here in Atlanta, but how it's growing here in America. And I think that was awesome. It was it's frustrating, but it was such a good match, even though it was a draw.
Yeah, agreed. Now let's go through also the other goals that happened as well. Michael Parkhurst unfortunately gives up that penalty that David Villa takes and takes the plum. But Parkhurst, yeah, I mean, he was he was left out to dry essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. It's like he doesn't have to make the tackle. It's like he doesn't have to make the tackle, but he also has to make the tackle because if he doesn't, the guy is he's away, and it's just like he got slightly unlucky with his timing, and it happens when you play against fast counterattacking. I mean, that move they had was brilliant.
It was one-touch football.
It was one touch. They passed their way straight through our team. It was nothing our guys could have done. It was just really good players doing what really good players are paid to do. So, I mean, it was just incredible from NYCFC's point of view. So you have to give them credit for creating that move in the first place. And so, you know, when you do create chances like that, you're going to get rewarded for it. It's the same with Atlanta United. You know, when you knock on the door enough times, eventually it will open up. So, yeah, I mean, it was a penalty. It's frustrating, but David Villa is cool from the spot almost every single time he steps up. So
this game is not without some controversy, and we have to talk about Nagbe's disallowed goal. It was a great hit. My God.
Wonderful hit. It would have been a fantastic first goal to have because he absolutely catches all of it.
Yeah, but it was a VAR ruled, it was an offside on Josef, and it was a little bit of like, you know, goalkeeper interference as well. But let's go break it down here. So Josef Martinez makes a great move and plays it out to Julian Gressel, who pulls it back for Tarlington Nagbe, and he just puts it in the bottom left corner. But the issue is Josef is standing right in front of Sean Johnson, and you know, basically this play, usually, you know, he lays it off to the right winger or right wing back. In some cases it's Tito, in some cases it's Julian, and you know, it's a immediate, you know, it's a near post ball where he can just slot it in really quickly, but he didn't get that ball. It was a pullback to Nagbe.
Yeah, unfortunately in this play, I mean, I get people are upset, but by the letter of the law, I mean, in FIFA's offside ruling, they even say part of being determined offside is if you're interfering with an opponent. And in their presentation on the offside rule, they say, preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball, for example, by clearly obstructing the goalkeeper's line of vision or movement. In the replay, you can see that he is clearly obstructing the goalkeeper's line of sight. He cannot see the ball. Mind you, he's not going to save it anyway, but that does not matter. It does not come into the rule whatsoever because he is interfering with the goalkeeper's ability to make a play on the ball. Because of that, he is offside. It's incredibly frustrating, and there is absolutely nothing he can do about it. A lot of people were slagging him off for it, saying, hey, why didn't he get back on side? He literally just finished making a run to the near post. He made a run to the near post, thinking the ball was gonna come in. The ball did not come in immediately. It was cut back and hit first time. And the ball was hit with a lot of pace. There is nothing, nothing he could have done about that. Whether you question his work rate, his attitude, none of that comes into play for me with this one. I mean, there is literally nothing he could have done to not interfere with this play. It's just incredibly unlucky. And to have any attitude that it's his fault is wrong. To have any attitude it's not offside is wrong. the ruling was correct, and it's not Josef's fault. So that might be difficult to accept, but that's the way that it was, and it's the right decision that we should move on with it.
Yeah. I mean, for Josef Martinez, if he gets the ball, we wouldn't be complaining. Against the likes of Toronto, against the likes of Orlando, where he puts it into your post. So you take these moments. You have to kind of look at the bigger picture as well. I mean, Josef Martinez is elite in this league scoring goals.
There's a reason why last week we talked about him breaking the record for most goals scored in least amount of games.
Yeah.
And a few weeks before that, we were talking about how he tied the record for most hat tricks in the least amount of games.
Right.
So he's an incredible talent who is incredibly competitive. We all know that. He wants to score goals. When he does not score goals, he gets angry. Tata said as much after the game. There's nothing wrong with that. His teammates love him. Yeah. You can see that. He loves his teammates. Whether or not you think he, looks mad always on the pitch, even when he scores a goal by not, when he stares, that's him being competitive. That's his celebration. Him going, I'm better than you. I just scored a goal and I'm going to do it again. I love that about him. I think he's a fantastic player, and just because, he was hurt and had one off game against the best team in the league is not a reason to absolutely just slag him off on social media or in the comments and be like, oh, he has a bad attitude. Oh, he's not a good player. It must upset. Stop it. He's a fantastic player and he will score a goal. He's probably, if he scored a hat trick against Galaxy this weekend, it would not shock me. Their defense is terrible and he loves to get after it. And I think that him going up against Zlatan, that's motivation for him because he knows he's going up against one of the greatest strikers to play the game, and he wants to be like, you know what? I've got something to say about that when it comes to MLS. So I think people need to definitely take a chill pill. We talked about it. Me and Jay did in our fan cam. Everyone knows about what happened in the tunnel at halftime. Whoever that bellend was, I hope we find him and ban him if he hasn't been, fined, banned, kicked out, whatever. Don't slag off our own players, whether it's McCann, whether it's Josef, anyone. Like, there's no reason to. Obviously, you can complain if they have a bad game, but have a reasonable expectation of what a bad game or a bad player is before you just start slagging them off. Because there's one thing that I don't want, and that's players going, oh wow, those fans in Atlanta are spoiled as hell. If you don't score in one game, they're gonna get on social media or in the tunnel and just start booing me for no reason. And what happens there is players don't come and then we're bad. And then you have something to complain about because we're bad. But guess why we're bad? Because we're a bunch of dick fans who don't appreciate things. So what we're good at is giving them a hell of a good support when they play in Mercedes-Benz, which we showed during that game. That's what we're good for. That's what we do, is we go and we support them through thick and thin. We're gonna have bad seasons at some point in time. We're gonna have bad games at home at some point in time. Players have bad games. It happens. It's football. But seriously, people need to relax and take it off some of these players because I'm kind of heated right now just because I've seen so much over the last few days and it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit ridiculous. I mean, okay, yes, the caveat is yes, Josef did not have the best game, but it's also, you have to give credit to NYCFC,
who are the #1 team in the league.
They are there for a reason, and they marked him out of the game. They had the game plan going in. Yes, like, we're not going to let Josef Martinez beat us, and especially when you don't have Tito Villalba in the match as well, which that two-headed striker system that we had for much of this really good run. You have someone playing off him and running off the ball, and with Tito Villalba's speed, when he's in the team, having both of those guys is super scary. We didn't have that facet in this match, so he was a little bit isolated up top. I mean, that's what happens when a system changes a little bit. I mean, Miguel Almiron does not play the same way as Tito Villalba.
No, I mean, that's not saying that the system changed and United still had a great game. Almiron had a fantastic game, but he plays a completely different style. Right. So what Tito is much more direct. He makes a lot more runs in behind. Miggy is just your typical 10. He finds space and then takes that space and does stuff with it. And that's what he did. He was given the ability to roam around and create havoc, popping up wherever the hell he wanted to, and that drove NYCFC crazy. Unfortunately, by doing that, he wasn't really pulling center backs by making runs in behind. That's what Tito can do.
Right.
That's because Tito possibly might be the fastest player on that team.
Yeah.
And teams have to be aware of that. So, you know, there's gonna be games like that where, especially when you have a good manager like Vieira, who's smart enough to know, all right, I'm not gonna let that guy beat me because that guy scores goals all the time at home. So what do I have to do? Stop him. I mean, for Pete's sake, we had 2 defenders score. Yeah. So it's like, clearly he did something well in regards to his game plan because the attackers didn't score.
Right.
It was the defenders who scored. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it was an incredible game. It was an incredibly tactical game. It was a game played at a level that I haven't seen in MLS before. Agreed. And that's the level that I want to see the game evolve to. And if that's the case, we're gonna have more draws at home against really good teams. But we're also gonna have really big wins against really big teams. It's going to happen. It's football.
We had our little moment of magic as well, and Miguel Almiron stands up a ball, and McCann, you know, he just has to easily just head it down into the goal, and that's, you know.
I mean, that ball was sumptuous. I mean, that was a fantastic cross. He put it on a plate, but also just a great header by McCann to keep his cool and just put it home. And McCann's a player that I think we've definitely slagged him off for his performances sometimes, which is fair.
Critical.
I mean, which is fair.
You can be critical of players, yeah.
But it's like, you know, because at times he has not played well against Houston. Yeah. Not just him, but the whole team did not play well.
Right.
We said that. But the thing is with McCann that's so interesting is that he's really developed into an actual important, and I don't mean this as a backhanded compliment at all. He's developed into a very important player in this team.
Right.
He settled very, very well at left center back last game against one of the best teams in the league, and he showed his quality. And he has the versatility to play both left wing back and left center back. And what's been very interesting to me over the last few weeks, especially with, you know, the news coming out today that it looks like Mb is not going to sign with Atlanta United.
Right.
Probably some money situations there. He probably wanted a bit too much, and we're like, that's not going to happen. It happens. That being said, a lot of players have stepped up in the last few games. So obviously it helps if you have signings, but it's almost like a new signing when players who you didn't expect these performances
and they step up,
and they step up. So you've had McCann step up, you've had Miles Robinson step up, you've had Wheeler Amanu start playing. I mean, you've got these players there, and the fact that Tata's giving them a chance, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, agreed. And, you know, the times that we were critical of Chris McCann, I think were definitely when he was being put in midfield and then Jeff Flores is being put into the back line.
He wasn't being put in a position to succeed.
Exactly. Those are not his strong suits, and when he's on the left side of the pitch and able to do his thing, and, you know, I think he was able to, you know, make tackles when he needed to, you know, and then play balls, you know, like he's able to pick out a pass when he's on the side of the pitch that he's able to, you know, really distribute well.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not that chase down type of like center mid where like a Carlos Carmona is really, really effective. Like, you know, when you have him in midfield, that's where we are very worried. That's, you know, and that's just, I think, a nature of, you know, a type of public forum if you're a player, and, you know, if we're a podcast and we're talking about players, that's just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really interesting, not only with him, now that you mention, you know, him being able to pick out that ball, what I noticed with the back line against NYCFC is it wasn't just him. Every player in that back three could pick a pass because Gonzalez Perez played a couple just absolutely gorgeous switches across the field. I mean, he dropped them on a dime. It was incredible. I mean, his confidence is definitely back. Anyone who was worried about him, I think you should just relax because he's clearly showed that he's a phenomenal footballer. I didn't think he'd settle in on the right-hand side of the defense, but he looked pretty comfortable there against, again, the best team in the league. So even though, yes, they played a few days before, even though, yes, they were playing at our home, you know, field, he played really well, and they were not afraid. You could tell. But that's because they get that from their coach, who also was not afraid. So they played well.
Agreed. And for me, though, LGP, you know, he's, you know, our two our best center backs on the club. I mean, he starts for me if he's healthy. Like, it's just hands down. And, you know, he's had a rough, you know, patch a little bit here and there in moments in games, especially, you know, Houston, gave away the goal early. He had the 2 yellows against Minnesota. I mean, but I think beyond that, he's had a very, it's what he does. He's a very aggressive player, and you ride that line a lot of times, and sometimes you get caught out. I mean, but for me, he's still one of the best center backs in the league, despite if he's having a little bit of a rough patch to start the year. I think he will come good. He showed all of last season that he was quality. So.
Absolutely. I mean, if anything, my confidence in the defense has grown over the last few weeks.
Definitely.
And it's been a lot better than what I thought. And it's shown a different, a bit of a change tactically in Tata. He's changed a little bit.
Yep.
He's definitely, conceded possession more, but at the same time, it's not really bothering him because he knows his team can absorb that pressure and break. Right. And they've shown a defensive solidarity that I did not know existed with that team. Yes, we gave up 2 goals, but one's a penalty that you get caught out again by a great piece of play by NYCFC, and the other is a worldly screamer from a guy who's probably never scoring a goal like that again. So
yeah, no, but he's a quality player, and so their equalizer was from Alexander Ring, just a golazo, man, my God. He essentially, I think he caught out Guzan. Caught him leaning a little bit, and
I think it was
scored one from distance.
Yeah, for me, it's like not to be like picky, and it might sound kind of crazy. I thought Guzan could have maybe saved it if he hadn't taken that slight step to his left or leaned a little bit left right before that.
Yeah,
and that sounds a little bit harsh. But that's just because I know and I've seen the quality that Guzan brings to that, and I know he can save shots like that because it's at his near post. All things considered, a big fella like him should be able to make that save, and I think he has made that save before. And I think you can see it in his face, he's a bit frustrated because he just takes that little half lean right when he does that, and it's really unlucky.
Yeah.
And I think he's just frustrated that he's gotten beaten from that far out.
Yeah, that's true. I think also, I think credit to Ring as well. I think he opened up his hips a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle. It was a heck of a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, he still had to hit it perfectly, and it caught the underside of the crossbar, which, it just shows you it's a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
I think you can just see the frustration in Guzan's face there, and I think, it happens, it's frustrating, but at the same time, that's not the reason why it was a 2-2 draw.
We want to talk about how people are slagging off Josef Martinez for being offside a lot. It's a little bit crazy. It's like, as a striker, and every striker does this, if they have the kind of capabilities of a Josef Martinez where they play in behind, essentially you have to pretty much kind of bore your center backs to death that they have no idea where you are, or you're so offside that they're not really even worried about you. And then when the ball is played, or even when a player goes past where Josef Martinez is and plays, a cutback or something like that, or crosses it to him, the center backs won't have really quite an idea where he is because he's pretty much free roamed into space, and that's what a striker needs, is space, and that's why he's been able to score at a really unprecedented rate in MLS and doing what he does. He may be a little bit offside here and there. It's what a striker does, though.
Here's my thing. If you want to complain about his style of play, I will point you in the direction of one of the best strikers in the world right now. His name's Sergio Aguero. He does the exact same thing, and he is phenomenal at it.
Yeah.
He will stand offside the whole time, check back onside when the center backs have no idea he's there, then receive a through ball and score a goal. He is incredible at doing that. It is a way of playing the game. Very intelligent players who are very good do that. Yes, he is standing offside. He's doing it on purpose. Also, by standing offside, for a lot of teams, especially if you're going against inexperienced center backs, it forces them to drop deeper. They will sit deeper. The deeper they sit, there's a bigger space between midfield and defense, which gives players like Miggy more space. When he gets into that space, that allows Josef to then run off those defenders and score goals. It is tactical, it is a way of playing, it's just how it is. So I encourage you, if you think it's silly, just go pull up Sergio Aguero's highlights, because you're gonna see him doing the exact same thing a lot. And it's not just him, a lot of really, really good strikers do that. So it's a style of playing the game. The best ones do it all the time. We just got to accept it and move on. So, you know, yeah, maybe he didn't have the greatest performance. It happens. But I will tell you who I thought actually had a really good performance. Nagbe. Nagbe had a really, really good game.
Absolutely. He has a shout for man of the match, definitely. I mean, you know, he's a guy that, man, he just controlled the game. He was able to essentially dribble around everybody.
You can't get the guy off the ball.
Yeah.
Like, he was going past, I mean, they were pushing, pulling, tugging three players at the same time, and Nagbe still keeps hold of the ball. And I'm like, how does he do? He must have glue on his foot, because the man was taking on all comers and was like, you're not getting this off of me. Just give up. It's not going to happen. And that was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, he bossed the game, and it's one of those, like, against a NYCFC where we already weren't really seeing a ton of possession, but when we were seeing possession, it was through Nagbe, it was through, you know, a Kevin Kratz, it was through
He played a hell of a game as well. I mean, I think he's definitely a player that he flies under the radar because maybe he doesn't do the flashy with the exception of his set pieces occasionally. He put in a very, very good shift against a very high energy team.
Yeah.
And I thought he played very well. And it's encouraging to see him play well against a very good team because it shows you, hey, he's got quality, which means, hey, we've got depth we didn't think we had.
Yeah, exactly. No, and he's that type of player that can play all across the midfield, you know, and so he can play as an 8, he can play as a 10, he can play as a 6 as a little bit. So, you know, and he's able to do various things for you, and he's got that relentless work ethic as well. So, you know, he, in my eyes, had a hell of a game, and, well, that free kick, we should talk about that, where essentially Miggy, Kratz, and Lorenowitz are standing all over it, and I guess it was kind of a little drawn-up play, but Lorenowitz ends up hitting it. Seems like I think Kratz talked about it where we were a little bit too close where he couldn't put the bend on it to
it was a really good routine though. I liked it. It was a good idea.
But in the stands, I mean, I'm thinking like this is Kratz territory. He's gotta take it. I mean, he just puts him in practice like nothing.
And maybe that was the idea, is they were expecting him to take it. I mean, that's something that you do get from him. You will get that quality from set plays when he is on the pitch that you don't get from a lot of players.
Yeah.
But you know who you could get that from? Potentially a little Bodie, and he made an appearance.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, so Ezequiel Barco made his MLS debut after what seems like
forever.
Yeah,
literally
really
forever.
Time. We've been talking about this dude for probably like 5 months or something now.
I don't count preseason because it's preseason.
Right.
Finally saw him in a game that matters.
Yeah.
In a 5-stripe shirt. It was pretty awesome. I mean, we didn't win. It wasn't the best.
Yeah. But
he showed you how good he could be.
Yeah. I mean, he lacked a little bit of that end product, but I mean, you know, him dribbling around everybody, he's got that. Just, I mean, it's a little bit hyperbole maybe, but he reminds us of that type of player where he's got a low center of gravity and the ball just sticks to his foot. A little bit of like messy moves, you know. He's able to just really cause havoc in and around the box. And really, when he came on, NYCFC had pretty much retreated into their box because they had a double team of them. They just couldn't cope with him.
To continue on, and it is a bit of a stretch, but at the same time, maybe he could be the Messi of MLS for a little while before he moves on to greener pastures, because if he does that and he improves on it, it's going to be good. I mean, when you miss that many games, obviously, you're not going to be the sharpest. You're going to lack a little bit. But what he does, similar to Messi as well, he draws players' attention like crazy. Wherever he went, NYCFC defenders are like, that fellow, we all have to go to him. And I mean, he had one run at the top of the box where 3 players came after him at one point in time. Every time he went down the wing, there were 2 players going after him. The thing is, once he's fully fit, not only will he draw them, he will be able to beat them because that dude is quick.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of times he was pretty direct moving down the left-hand side, and I'm like, this guy is rapid. I mean, we've had Miggy, we've had Josef, we have Tito. None of them have looked like that fast with the ball, taking those touches that quickly.
And I think it's
incredible.
It's the tricks that he can do as well. You know, just his skill. I mean, he's just able to you know, and not just the dribbling. There's the passing as well. That when he's gonna draw so many players to him, he's gonna be able to actually connect those passes in the future. And when he's going to be able to connect those passes, that dude's going to be open. And that dude's going to be open in the box. And the person is probably going to, more often than not, be able to score it much easier. So.
I mean, he's a heck of a player. You could see, I mean, I don't think he'll start this weekend. I think he still needs a little bit more. And honestly, I can't think of anyone I want to bring on against a tired, probably poor LA Galaxy defense than the record signing for MLS, because they will probably not be happy to see him coming on later in the game.
Definitely. And I also hope that, you know, well, we haven't seen Tito Villalba practice this week, but if he's also able to come on as well, man, those are two super subs that we can bring on. It just
shows you how much quality Atlanta United have up top. Maybe that they lack a little bit of balance, but you can only do so much when it comes to MLS and their rules. Yep. We've decided to invest in our attackers, and we've got some pretty damn good ones, man. I don't know if it's possible to fit them all into the pitch without just being incredibly, you know, unbalanced. The shape that we had in the second half when Barco came on, I was confused because it was like a 3-4-3, and then it was like, or it was like a 3-5-2 with them on the right, and then it like switched, and I had no idea what was going on.
It was very fluid.
It was very fluid.
So it's good. Yeah.
Which can be good. Which can be good.
No, it could put you in trouble defensively, obviously. But
I have no idea. The thing is that I don't think opposing teams are going to have any idea either, because it's like, who are we getting, and where are they going to be, and where is the other people going to be, and we have to mark all of them, and they're all fast, and they move a lot, and then you have guys like Nagbe who can just control the game and the tempo. I mean, Nagbe playing like that frees up Miggy to, again, find that space and then create havoc, and it's just like, you have, it's incredible. They have just a dearth of attacking talent. Tata's gonna have a very hard selection to make when all these players are fit, because in my opinion, I don't know who in that 11 deserves to get dropped.
It's going to be very tough.
Everyone has worked their ass off to get there. Yeah. I mean, Julian Gressel is probably right now playing as the best right back in the league.
Definitely.
I mean, or right wing back.
It's a right wing
whatever.
Position.
I mean, I personally think if we go to 4 at the back, he's playing right back. I don't think there's any reason to not stop playing him, because he's been phenomenal, and he had again quite a few really good balls into the box this weekend.
Definitely. So I think we're gonna get to our man of the match. So I'm gonna put it to you, man. That's you know, it's a very, very hard decision to make.
For me, I'm gonna have to go Miguel Almiron. He got the assist. He had the shot that led to the first goal as well. Yeah. I thought he was just brilliant, just popping up everywhere. He was incredible. I was happy to see him given a free number 10 kind of role to just go and create. I thought he did a really good job, but it's such a tough argument, because again, McCann was good, LGP was good, Kratz was good.
No one really had a bad game.
I mean, and Tata said as much after the game. Tata said, you know, this might have been the best game we've played as a team since he's been the manager.
Right.
And it was a draw.
Right.
So think about that. I mean, that was a really good game of football.
Yeah. I mean, and the goals that we gave up were moments of magic where we couldn't have done anything about it. Really.
Again, penalty off a great play, and then a wonder goal. It's just like, what are you going to do? It's just, the only thing you might be able to complain about is, hey, maybe we weren't as clinical in front of goal when we should have been, or what we're used to being. But it's like, again,
credit to their defense.
Credit to their defense.
Yeah.
It happens. We'll get our chances. I mean, it was a great game. And honestly, a point in that scenario, not the worst thing in the world. We win our game in hand. We go 1 point behind them. Not bad, considering the sky was falling after week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on into the news, happy birthday to MLS in Atlanta. On April 16th, 2014, we were announced as MLS Atlanta. I mean, that's just 4 years of, you know, you had no idea what was going to become, and just pure bliss, and wow, look at us now.
Yeah, I mean, 4 years from now, personally, I think we're going to win an MLS Cup, so it'll be a pretty decent time.
Hopefully a few more. So.
Yeah, hopefully we just keep on winning them, and then everyone hates us because we just keep on winning. But I'm cool with that. Moving on, an MLS Team of the Week, Atlanta United features, once again, Miguel Almiron. They have him listed on the right-hand side. I don't know why. He's just in the team. It's awesome. I think Atlanta United, ever since week 2, I believe, has had a player in the Team of the Week almost every single week. If they let us vote at all on anything ever, obviously, but that's going to happen. I know they didn't let us vote on this. Hopefully they have us for goal of the week, maybe, because that McCann header, come on now. He never scores. Give him a chance. Anyway,
it's not gonna happen.
What's funny enough, though, manager of the week, Patrick Vieira. Honestly, probably a pretty good shout. He had his team set up pretty good for a really big game, so I'd say that's fair enough.
Big game away, yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. And to give us an injury update, defender Franco Escobar has returned to training. He returned to training with the reserves last week, but he's full on with the first team now. So that's fantastic. Gives Tata Martino more headaches.
Pun intended?
Yeah, exactly.
Pun intended, headaches?
Oh dear. I didn't mean to do that. But goalkeeper Mitch Hildebrandt also is, at least on social media, he's showing that he has returned to training a little bit. So, you know, that's also good. We have our third or second, depending on who you ask, goalkeeper. So that gives more competition. That's always great. And also, of course, Tito Villalba has not returned yet. It seems to be a hamstring, so we shall see. You know, I think
take his time is what I say. Those things can be finicky. I'd rather him take his time and get fit now, as opposed to coming back and being a little niggling, reoccurring injury, kind of like you see with a la Greg Garza. You know, because you never know when that'll come back up. And it's just like, you don't want to force him to play and then it develop into that type of injury, especially to a player as quick and as important as Villalba.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, I do lament that we might not have him for the weekend. Definitely for counter opportunities, he's definitely our biggest threat.
I mean, lose Tito, gain Barco.
Yeah,
man, rough life we have.
I know.
So to get to the Eastern Conference standings after this weekend's round of fixtures, NYCFC still sitting up top with 17 points after that big midweek win against Real Salt Lake. Atlanta United, 13 points, but we do have a game in hand. So we win that game, we go 1 point behind them. And then 3 points sitting behind Atlanta United is New England Revolution. Now what's interesting is if you look all the way down at the bottom of that table, you will see Toronto FC. Many of you might be thinking, oh wow, they might be having an off year. Do not write them off. I must say this completely, do not write them off. They've been playing the Champions League. That is their goal. They are trying to win it. They're actually playing tonight. I have not looked at the score. I actually hope they win it because it will say something about our league. You have the Atlanta NYCFC game on a Sunday showing, hey, things get big here, and then turn right around and have Toronto win their first leg in the CONCACAF Champions League. Says something about our league, and we want it to keep improving. So yeah, it'd be kind of frustrating to watch Toronto win, but at the same time, if it makes the league better, so be it. They've only played 4 games. We've played 6, NYCFC's played 7. They've not been focusing on the league. It's a long season, as we all know. Don't worry about them at the bottom. They'll be up top later. So it's very interesting. I think it's very competitive. What's interesting to me as well, Orlando City have gotten a couple wins recently. They may have figured themselves out. Makes me kind of worried. Not really. We'll see them in a few weeks in the bins. I'm excited about that. But, you know, looking interesting so far. Yeah,
and some players that we'll see, or if you go make their player appearances, are Tito Villalba. He's going to be at this Publix here on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. We're filming this on a Tuesday. And so, you know, you get to see Tito in his new haircut.
Oh yeah, he cut all of his hair off. That's I'm kind of questioning my existence right now because Tito's flow has just been one of those just things that you've accepted as, okay, his hair stays perfect and I don't know how. And now it's all gone. Yeah. It's really weird.
His swoop is just completely gone and, you know,
more aerodynamic is what I say.
Yeah, maybe that. I mean, it's definitely going to be weird for a lot of people when they first see him when he comes back. But maybe, hopefully he's not out that long. Hopefully he doesn't grow out already when he comes back.
That'd be kind of depressing.
Crap, man. But another player that you can see is Franco Escobar on Tuesday, April 24th at La Paria. And then also Miles Robinson on Wednesday, April 25th at $3 Cafe in Midtown.
All right, Five Stripes, we have another big game this weekend. But unfortunately, it's all the way out in LA. It's against the Galaxy, and it does not kick off until 10 p.m. Big game. I wonder what we have to look forward to. I don't think they've signed anyone important recently or any players that are internationally renowned or score lots of crazy goals.
Nope.
No, wait, I think there's that. Oh yeah, they have Zlatan.
Zlatan.
So that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, so, you know, hopefully we do not get Zlatan this weekend, but, you know, I think I I back our boys to do some business out west on an away match that, you know, looks to be pretty tough. You know, LA Galaxy at StubHub. I mean, that's you know, that's a big arena. That's I
mean, the fans are definitely going to be there to see Zlatan play, but you have to think they lost at home to Sporting KC. Not a bad team, and they struggled with a poor and a very dull game against the Chicago Fire this past weekend, with none other than Zlatan scoring the winner, because of course he did. I'm slightly concerned about his size, you know, related to our back line. But at the same time, they are not a good team. Like, before Zlatan, they weren't great. Even with Zlatan, they're not great. You know where the ball's going. It's going to Zlatan. So,
but his moments of magic are.
That's the thing, is he pull it out he's so good that he only needs a half chance. For me, I think that they're going to have to score more than one goal to prevent him from, you know, the thing is, he isn't mobile, and the style of play that we have is very, very quick, very up-tempo. If we can keep the ball away from him, I think they'll be in a good place. I think that's something they can do, because I don't think that Galaxy are good enough to press them high up the pitch and take the ball off of us. I mean,
and I think the way we have to play, like, we have to press their back line. I mean, they're gonna try to, you know, play a little bit out the back, and the more that we can, you know, press them and make them make mistakes, that's how we can really, you know, counter them, or, you know, possess even more from, you know, getting their giveaways. And, you know, so
personally, I think something that we really need to look at, and I think something that will happen, especially if we press, they'll probably go route one a lot. I think what they'll end up doing is they'll just say, all right, sod it, we can't get past it, let's just chuck it up to Zlatan, which may sound simple enough, not the worst strategy in the world. So I think what you might see is him kind of coming a bit deeper, then playing a long ball up to him, because he will control it, because he's Zlatan, and then have runners going off of him. So I think our wing backs are going to be very aware and tracking back defensively. Our center backs are going to have to not get sucked in every single time he drops deep. It'll be it'll be dangerous. That being said, I think United are going to win. I think Tata is going to put out the same 11 he did last week. I thought that they played really well, and I think that against a team of lesser quality, I think you can see some more goals, especially with the team with a leaky defense like Galaxy. I think we could get after them, and the thing with them, I think, is once we get after them, we have to stay after them. But I like Miggy in that free 10 role. Yeah, Josef was a bit, you know, alone up top, but I think he'll be able to get some more chances against a team like Galaxy, because I think they'll get caught out by not only Miggy's positioning, but also just the threats that genuinely come from everywhere in that team. And honestly, I think we're going to score goals late, because I think Barco's going to come on, they're going to be knackered, and he's going to create.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. I think, Barco's going to start off the bench, especially in an away match. You know, just, you know, ease him into this this team. I think that's a better way, and, you know, he'll, you know, start at home. That's a much better way to get him really, really integrated. But I think for me, I think Josef was a little bit more isolated. I think he's going to need a little strike partner. He's not a little guy. Romario Williams, I think, could be the guy, you know, up there with him. And I think the rest of the squad kind of fills out with Miggy at the 10, Nagbe, Larry. And I think, you know, Garza or McCann definitely works, but I think Garza gets the start for me, just to really, you know, really pin down LA Galaxy, and that way, you know, we still have our cover. We still have Larry. We still have if McCann starts, and we have Parky. We have LGP. We still have 4 guys back, so. You know, I'm not too worried about that. I
think also what you get is, if you play McCann across the back and you have those 3 ball-playing center backs, Zlatan isn't one to press a back line very hard. So maybe the other players do, but if you're not all pressing together, which I don't think they will, that gives you time on the ball. So I think, you know, having McCann at center back does give you that calmness, that coolness, that ability to pick out a pass that, when building from the back, you know, it helps the whole squad. So I think that's definitely, you know, something that that definitely could happen, just because I don't think Galaxy are really going to come after us that hard.
And I do question, though, I mean, it's like, are we going to stick with the 3-5-2? I mean, probably so. I mean, it's worked really well, but, you know, when you pretty much have Zlatan, I mean, all 3 center backs, are they just going to be, you know, marking Zlatan? It's, you know, there's going to be a little bit of confusion. Do they, slot into the 4-2-3-1? But I think ultimately what's been working, 3-5-2. I think we're gonna go with that.
All right. So you think we're gonna go at 3-5-2? Gut feeling on the score prediction.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. There are gonna be a lot of goals. Yeah, but I think we're gonna pull it out. I was right last week about 2-2. I hope I'm right with this one, 3-2 Atlanta United.
3-2 Atlanta, that's a lot of goals.
That is a lot of goals.
Zlatan score, you have Zlatan scoring for them?
I think Zlatan scores a couple times probably.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with 3-1. I think that we're gonna take the lead. I think Zlatan's gonna score at some point in time just because that's what he does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Barco's coming off the bench. I don't know if he's gonna score, but I think when he's on the pitch, they're gonna have no idea what to do with him. And I think he's gonna pick up his first assist. I think, or something, he's gonna get involved. He's gonna be directly responsible for us scoring goals somehow. I think he's just gonna absolutely take them to pieces when they come on because they're gonna be dead tired from chasing after Miguel Almiron all day. I'm gonna go 3-1.
All right, all right.
So both of us, 3 points in the bag for the 5 stripes on the road.
Absolutely. Hopefully.
I think that's a big shout. I mean, it really shows if they can go out to LA and pick up 3 points, that's big for this team because it shows, hey, we can go all the way across the country and play a Western Conference team. Yeah, they might not be great, but getting points on the road in MLS is tough.
Yeah.
So I'd be really impressed if they can go out and get those 3 points, and that really puts another marker saying, hey, we're here, we're for real. That blip against Houston, that's in the past. That was a one-off. We're here to mean business, and I think that's big 3 points to put on top of that point we got this past weekend.
Yeah, I think the team's gonna be up for it. I mean, it's gonna be a bigger stage. I mean, you guys, Zlatan, the world is watching.
They all know who they're playing. They all know what it entails. They all know who they're going up against. So I think they'll be ready for it. I'm excited for it, minus the fact that it's at 10 freaking p.m. our time. And guys, this week our question of the day is this: would Chris McCann start for you against LA Galaxy? For me, it's a yes. I think he's played really damn well and hasn't deserved to get dropped. But I'm really curious to see what you guys have to think. So hit us up on Twitter, get down in the comments below, and let us know what you think.
So that's it for us today. Remember to smash a like, remember to subscribe if you haven't. And for Tanner McCloud, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.